are you? Hey, good to see you. Good for you to be back joining us again. This is my lovely wife, Shauni, and I'm Mondi, and we've been married for 10 years, if you didn't know. And on our community page, we posted a poll about communication in relationships. And very interesting were the results, right? So we asked, what's more important, listening or talking? 100% listening, 100% talking, right?
50%, yeah.
50% listening, 50% talking, 75% talking, 25% listening.
Yeah.
Well, the results vary, but it was very interesting to hear or to see what people thought was most important. What about you? What's important to you?
I absolutely believe that in a relationship, so when it comes to, talking about how you feel about things, on different levels, you need to be able to listen way more than you talk.
They give you 2 ears for a reason, right?
Yes. Because knowledge, number one, knowledge is power. Okay? Like I tell the kids all the time.
Sure.
If you are talking, you are not listening. If you are not listening, you are not learning.
True.
Okay?
Facts.
So a lot of times when somebody is talking to you about how they feel about something,
Yeah.
a lot of times what people do is they start to think about how they're going to respond, right? And when you do that, you are not really listening as intently as you need to listen.
Sure.
Because if you're thinking about a rebuttal, your mind is not focused on what's being said.
True.
You get what I'm saying?
True.
And people can tell when you're not listening, right? It drives, I'm sure, a lot of us crazy that when we're talking to our partner or spouses, and then we have to repeat ourselves because they are not listening.
You talking about me?
You've gotten better.
I listen sometimes.
You've gotten better. This is a guy that I can write down stuff and he'll forget it. Okay?
Just send the text.
I send this guy text messages in writing. How do you forget what's written down?
I mean, listen, I'm in such a hurry to get going. Listen, I forget.
Hey fam, hey Nicole, how are
Hi,
you?
Nicole.
I'm glad to see you back with us.
Yes.
But like I was saying, when you listen intently
Yeah.
in a relationship, right? You cannot be thinking about what you're going to say next.
Sure.
Okay? Because you're going to miss some very important and key points to what the person is saying to you,
Yeah.
right? And when you do that, but here's the thing, your brain can only take so much at a time. Okay? Your brain cannot function listening. Yes, your brain cannot function listening and thinking at the same time.
True.
Okay? So either you're going to be doing one or the other at one time or the other.
True.
So you're listening partially, and then your brain's thinking about what you're going to say. So now you're not listening to what they're saying.
True.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then when you respond, your response is all off. Right? And then they get mad. It's like, that's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying that. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
A lot of
it's
people don't
better.
say that.
Yeah, it's better to just fully and intently listen for various reasons that, I'm sure we'll get into in a moment. It's better to intently listen to what the person is saying because it makes them feel like, you know what? I'm really being heard. Okay? They're really listening to me. I'm really being heard here.
Yeah.
You
So-
get what I'm saying?
And a good point to follow up on that. A good thing, a habit to do is, what I've learned to do from her is basically to just say, So what I heard you say is,
Mm-hmm.
and then repeat back or paraphrase back what that person said to you.
I got
so
that from somebody. I forgot who I got that from.
Well, it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It works. And then that way they know you're paying attention to what they're saying.
Yes.
And then there's no excuse for you to say, well, I didn't know what you were saying.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So,
yeah. The repeat thing works. Also, it makes people to feel like since I'm being heard,
Mhm.
I can go deeper with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can talk about deeper stuff. I can talk about the harder stuff, right?
Yes.
And when you're able to do that, when you're able to talk about the harder and the deeper stuff with somebody, you don't really understand how much of a connection that makes you guys have, how much of a deeper connection you guys have as a result of being able to go deeper and talk about hard things.
That's part of intimacy.
Correct.
Part of intimacy.
You gotta connect the two. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love it. I love that. And I've learned a lot in relationships because I was not a listener. I was a talker.
What?
Yes. Early on.
That must have been pre-me, child.
Yes.
'Cause
I was a talker because
I had to pray.
yeah. When I say talker, I mean I was talking over. another
talking over.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
so trying to get out my point
Yeah.
about what I was feeling or what I thought I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I realized that didn't work, I just
Shut down.
I shut down.
You definitely going to shut down. I mean, child. In the beginning of our relationship,
I was a shutdown king.
and I was a. Yeah, well, needless to say, that didn't work on either part.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And we got to a place where we were not like we were growing apart.
Yeah.
Okay? This is why when people say communication is a big part of relationship, I mean, as cliche as that sounds,
Yes.
it is a huge part of a relationship. Because, as I say, with us, we were growing apart. Right? By the day. To where we were getting is like, look, I don't want to be around you right now. You know, I mean, I really don't want to be around you right
and
now.
part of that was learning each other's communication style. So
Sure.
that's a part of communication. When they say communication is key, it's really learning that other person's communication style. Are they a listener? Are they a talker? Do you need, signs? Do you need to do to draw something for them? Do you need to listen? Some
You don't need to do sign language.
Some people are visual.
Yes.
They only learn by visual, cues or whatever it is. So you have to figure out what your partner's communication style is.
Yeah.
How they communicate and see if you can, come to some sort of agreement with that.
Yeah, like I've come to learn that you also have to be open to, and you have to grow. Be able to grow as an individual inside of a relationship, right? So, for instance, with you, I would yell and scream and cuss and holler and flip stuff upside down, and you would do it for a moment, and then you would shut down. Because he was just not interested in the hooping and the hollering, right? And it literally broke us up. The fact that we could not communicate on the level that I wanted him to go back and forth with me so that we can get it all out and get it resolved. Little did I know, child, I wasn't resolving nothing.
She's a debater. She went to school and she was a debater. So she's on the debate team. Debaters like to debate.
Yes.
But her form of debating can come across as argumentative.
Well, that's how I came up.
So,
That's what people did.
And I received it as being argumentative. So
Yes.
I didn't receive it as a debate.
Yeah.
I received it as an argument. And so that's when I shut down.
Yeah. And then it literally broke us up, right? And so what we had to learn how to do is like, what I was doing personally, that I had to learn what I was doing to shut him down, okay? And quite naturally, my first thought was, well, probably it's the yelling and the hollering and the screaming, okay? So let's get that done. And I really had to go to him and say, Um, like, look, what are we doing here? This is not like, what is it that you need from me?
Yeah.
Right? To make this thing work and help you to stop shutting down. Because what I found out was, in talking to him and being sincere about it, was that he felt unsafe talking to me about things. He felt like all I would do if he talked to me about anything, that I would just fly off the handle. Right? And so he felt unsafe. So what I had to do was learn to calm myself down and learn how to talk, right, about things, and not just talk about things, but also let him know, look, I apologize for the way that I had been behaving, right, before, and I am going to do my very best to turn this thing around. Now, please bear with me, all right, because this is ingrained, okay? Throw up a smoke signal, give me a sign and say, hey, you're going too far. Okay? Give me something, right? But eventually, he came to trust me little by little by little, and he talked more and more and more. And before you know it, we had this type of communication, where it just flowed.
Yeah. And that's key what you said, and I don't want anyone to miss that, is that you have to create a safe space for your partner to be able to talk. If they feel like you're going to blow off and go off the handle, then they're not going to talk.
No.
You can't be like, well, that's just how I am. You know, you can't do that.
Ain't gonna work.
It's not going to work, and they're not going to talk to you, and they're going to shut down.
Yeah.
And if if they're like that, then that's what you need to address with them. Listen, you can't blow off at the handle. If you want me to talk and come out and tell you how I'm feeling, you can't go crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, because the more you go crazy, the less they gonna talk, and the more you gonna be mad, and the more there's gonna be resentment, the more there's gonna be like
it's a vicious cycle.
It is a cycle, right? So somebody has to be the big person.
Yeah.
And somebody has to go and say, look, how do we fix this thing? How do we correct it? How do we work it out so that we can communicate with each other and both of us walk away from it at the end of the day feeling good about it? You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
Okay. So let me go back to something that I was saying in the beginning about communication being the biggest part of effectively communicating within a relationship, and when you're talking about how you feel. I'm not talking about like casual talk and things like that. I'm just talking about when you're getting in depth about stuff and talking to them about how you really feel, right? So, knowledge is power, okay? So when you're listening intently, you learn things.
True.
You learn things about the other person that you might not otherwise know, or you might have glossed by when you're especially when you're mad about something and you're ready you listening just enough so that you can go off. Okay? So that means you're not really listening to what's being said, because sometimes people can say stuff in a way that right? But it's a lot of times it's just their frustration, right?
Sure.
And if you respond in kind with frustration, it is just gonna be a screaming match, right? So if you just do more listening and let them get their stuff out of them, right? And then you go, even if you don't like the way that they spoke, right? Or the way that they were communicating, their delivery, you can say, after they finished speaking, finished speaking, you can say, hey, look, I understand you frustrated, but let's try to come to a calm place, where we can really talk to each other, because in this elevated tone, we're not going to be able to speak to each other and talk to each other the way that we, with respect, and the way that you would have me talk to you, and the way that I would have you talk to me.
Sure.
Right? But you'll find that when you really listen to a person, even with the hooping and the hollering, there's generally frustration or pain there. Okay? And sometimes it's difficult to hear, either when you about what you're going to say and what you're going to. If you make a habit of that, you'll start to hear the frustration, right? So then when you hear that as a loving and caring person, you go, wow, you sound really frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like that hurt your feelings. You get what I'm saying? You sound like, that it's, it's something really deeper and it's something really wrong.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about that, because I want to help work through that with you.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm with you on that.
And also, you can hear what people saying, but you can also hear what they not saying.
Oh yeah, it's going to reveal a lot to you. It'll definitely reveal some stuff to you when you hear
Yes.
a person is talking. They may have told you a lie in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Or they may tell you how they really feel.
Yep.
So listening is key. And a lot of times you want to say something, just hold back.
Just hold up.
Hold back just a little bit. Let them get out what they're saying.
Listen.
It may reveal something good or something bad, but either way, it's something you need to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you ask somebody questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you listen for the answers, right? Like another thing I say, he's like, why do y'all ask the same question 100 different ways? I said, because we dare you to answer it different.
Exactly. It's a setup.
we dare you to answer it
It's
different.
a setup, guys. Don't fall for it.
Absolutely. So, when you're listening, you can oftentimes recognize and pick up a pattern.
Yeah.
Right? People generally stick to a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
A pattern of talking, a pattern of behaving, a pattern of moving, a pattern of dressing, right?
Yeah.
And if you really focus and pay attention, you'll pick up on their verbal patterns, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'll begin to hear what they don't say,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can repeat back to them. You'll be like, well, you said this. I heard you say this. I heard you say that. Yeah. And then you hit them with the thing that they didn't say, the question that they didn't say. And, well, how about this? Whoa, you probably didn't start with that one. You're caught them off guard with that one, right? Because they're not expecting you to be able to pick up on the undercurrent of, I ain't telling you the whole story.
Yes, and body language is key too. I know we're not like, psychologists or anything, but you got to pick up on the body language.
Yes.
So if he starts fidgeting or she starts, moving around every time they talk about something, that's a cue. You need to pick up on that. And
another thing that they do too is they'll when you catch them off guard with something, mm-hmm. they'll get the fumbling and mumbling, or they'll repeat your questioning back.
That's a good one, right?
Where were you last night? Where was I last night? You heard me. I ain't stutter, butter, or other. Now they formulate the lie. They about to formulate a dog.
All they need is 2 seconds. That's why they ask the question. When they repeat your question back, they just need a few seconds to
think of an answer. They gonna think of some bull to tell you real quick.
Yes.
Right? So you can pick up on those things when you're real. Now, talking is important too. We're gonna get to that in just a second. Talking is important too, but it is listening is the most important thing, right? Because you can turn a whole situation around in a relationship by listening and understanding and being empathetic to what the person is saying.
You get your needs met.
Yeah.
You can get your needs met by listening. And
they can get their needs met.
They can get their met too by talking and telling you how they feel.
Sure.
So, it works both ways.
It does. It does. And so when they're, in a place where they're we our little kitties here. But when they get to a place where they are splitting and splotting and splutting and fumbling and mumbling, you like, I done caught you. Mm-hmm. I done caught you in something, because what I heard you say when I asked you all those questions, I heard you say this and I heard you say that, and now you're saying something completely different. Okay, and when I ask you something about, like when I was going back to asking them about stuff that they didn't say that you picked up on, then now they're going to come to a place that they know that you're really listening now. Right? So now they're going to start watching what they say. Either that or they're going to spit out the truth.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
And that's ultimately what you're looking for in a relationship. sometimes you may not intentionally want it, but you need the truth
Absolutely.
in a relationship because you actually are binding with that person. You guys have given yourself to each other, and if you can't get the truth
Yes.
from somebody, then that means you're living a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I know we all have our own little things that we do, but with your partner, the one you lay with, you want to have total truth with that person.
Yeah. A lot of times people don't want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And as hard as it may be, you need to know the truth, right? Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to sense the truth, right? But don't know the truth, and something in the pit of your stomach is going to be always gnawing at you, right? And you going in and day out, not knowing the truth, and you feeling sick to your stomach, you know what I mean, about something, or you feeling uneasy about the relationship in general, and it's putting you in a place of sadness or putting you in a place of misery within the relationship.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't, truth hurts, but truth helps.
It does.
You get what I'm saying?
It does.
So you always want to be in that place of truth.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it can be ugly sometimes. It can be difficult sometimes. Also, too, you have to learn how to say the truth without being nasty.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Your delivery, how you deliver what you have to say.
You have to be respectful when you're delivering that truth. You know, like,
unless you intend to sting. If your intent is to sting,
but see,
then you deliver it how you want.
Then you're gonna lose the connection, though,
True.
right? Because folks know when you coming for.
Unless, there's certain times when a person needs to deliver something with a sting. The spouse or your partner is doing something and they're just not getting it. Mm-hmm. You've talked to them over and over and over again in a nice way. You've delivered in a way that's, respectful. But now you need to deliver it in a way.
Give me an example of the sting.
Yes. So,
cause I done put my stinger away. I done took my stinger off, and I put it in the drawer at the bottom in the back, never to be seen again.
Yes. So, it could be something as simple as let's say a guy, he goes out, he likes to hang out with his friends, and the wife wants him to spend time with her more often, and she says it in a nice way, and he's just not getting it, and she's not getting her needs met, which is that quality time.
Yeah.
And so she's tired of saying it in a way that's gonna, that's like, he's glossing it over. He's not paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. He's not giving it any credence.
Yeah.
And so you have to deliver it at that point with a little heat on it.
With a little smoke on it.
With a little smoke.
What can you say?
I'm tired of you hanging out with them, your friends. I'm not gonna say nothing negative on here.
Yeah.
We're G-rated on here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you guys know what I'm talking about. You can deliver your sting in a way that lets the person know that you are upset and that what they're doing is really getting on your nerves.
But it can't be all the time.
No.
It has to be at least after you have been nice about it,
Yes.
and then now look now.
Yes.
Right. You know what I mean?
That's when it comes. Yeah. Or you're in a situation where you don't want to be in the relationship anymore, and you were trying to look for a way out of the relationship.
And
you're talking to them, and you're trying to figure, you guys, you're trying to be cordial about it, but now you really want out of the relationship. How you do it? You deliver it with a sting.
Well, I'm straight up. I'm sick of this.
Exactly. You're sick of it.
I'm over it. I'm done with it. I want out.
That's
I have no problem saying I want out.
Exactly. Sometimes you have to do that with people and let them know that you're serious about what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, another thing too, though, is you want to make sure that when you're listening, right, instead of thinking and formulating a plan and just not just spitting it out right away, is you want to make sure number one, you're not saying anything foolish, right, or not saying anything that you didn't mean to say.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of times when you're talking and you just ready to jump off the handle, you might say some stuff that you ain't mean to say and something that you can't take back. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they'll be talking to you about something and you fly off the handle too soon, and they'll be like, "Well, I was about to say da da da." Now you left looking crazy.
Right. Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, what did Lincoln say? Better to be, what did he say? Better to be silent and thoughtful than to speak and
Prove them right.
and prove them right, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely true, right? But here's the thing with that. When you are listening to somebody in that let's say, I'm gonna give an example. Give me an example of when say somebody is talking to you about something,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody jumps in with a blah 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 before you can get a chance to get what you were trying to say out.
Yeah, that happens a lot. We went through that.
Oh man.
We went through that early on. But that's because triggered responses. We all have. That's basically a trigger, a conditioned response.
Yeah.
We have a way that we're going to respond to something because we believe that someone's going to say something.
Yeah.
That's negative.
Yeah.
And we have a way that we're going to come at them. We already know what it's going to say. We already know how we're going to deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just trying to be nice.
Right.
Or they were going to say something that wasn't warranted for that kind of response.
Right.
So yeah, that we've been there.
Plus, too, in a relationship, you want to make sure you're listening so you can gather all the facts.
True.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to ruin, if you're trying to get to the meat of something that's going on, you don't want to ruin it by talking too fast or saying the wrong thing before you have all your facts in order. You
True.
get what I'm saying? Because if you don't, when you want to get to the point where when it's time to state your case, you are fully and thoroughly equipped.
Oh yeah, perfect example of that is when you were dealing with your ex, and old girl called you, and she started talking, and you was like calm as a cucumber, and trying to get information out of her.
Absolutely.
Tell me more. What else did you say?
Old girl said, "What do you want to know about your husband? What do you want to know about your husband?" I don't know, darling. What do you have to tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got to, you got to listen. You got to be calm enough
and be quiet
to get all of the information. Really? So now let me ask you this: when was that? What day was that?
Mm-hmm.
Round about what time was that? Yeah, because he wasn't here.
Right.
you get what I'm saying?
Right.
And you want to get all your facts together. So when you come with it, you come with it.
Right.
And then they, but I was no, baby. Because I asked you this one thing this time, and I asked you another thing this time, and now this time you saying this, and that time you saying that, and all of the stuff is not going together. It ain't working. It ain't coming together like it's supposed to come. You know what I'm saying?
So bottom line, I guess, when every relationship is different. So you're going to have to know what your mix is for the talking and listening. So you got to know your partner. You got to know if your partner is a talker. They like to talk and they don't like to listen. You can't get a word in edgewise like Jose and old girl from Married at First Sight.
Oh yes, my God.
So you gotta know your partner. If they are a talker, you gotta figure out a way to get in edgewise and let them know. Listen, I need you to stop for a second and listen to me.
Yeah.
So know your mix. Know what's good for your relationship.
Okay.
50-50, 75, what it is.
Yeah. Talking.
Okay.
Talking is important. Why? Why do you think talking is important?
Like we said earlier, it helps you to get your needs met.
Yeah.
You get out what you want to say, and that person is listening to you, and you're able to express yourself. And there's no room for anyone to say, "I did not know that."
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how you felt. So talking is important. If you feel a certain way about someone in a relationship, let them know.
Yeah.
Get it out.
If you watch us, you know that I have no problem with talking. Okay. In general, I talk more than he does. Okay? He is generally more quiet. You know, he says what he needs to say when he needs to say it, right? But he's generally more quiet. I have no problem with talking, but it's a difference between talking to people and talking at people.
True.
Right? When you talk at people, like for instance, like your man or your woman is coming in at all types of the morning, and you go, folks sitting up here coming in at all times, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what people be doing out there in the street. That's talking at someone.
Right.
Right? So instead of talking at them, you want to sit them down and talk to them and say, look, for me, you coming in all types of the night is disrespectful to me. Okay? Now, and don't go all crazy and talk. Listen, okay? Don't go calm. Okay? Calm. This is disrespectful to me. Right? I want to see what we can do to work this out. True. Right? And I know it's hard when you pissed. Listen to me. If anybody know, it's me. Okay? That when you are ticked off, it is hard to stay calm. Right? But you have to. Right? In order to make things work out the way that you need for them to work out, right? Instead of talking at them, you got to say, look, baby, I know you like having fun with your friends, you know, and I'm not trying to stop that, right? But we are in a committed relationship, or we are married here. We are trying to move forward in our lives. And some of the things that you are doing, right, it bothers me to the point that it makes me think, is this going to be a forever type thing?
Is this going to be a pattern?
Are you going to do this full time over and over and over? And it is concerning to me, right? This is something that really, really bothers me. And we need to sit down and figure out what we need to do to kind of work through this. Okay? This is how you want to handle that situation, right? Because if you going off and off and off, they ain't going to do nothing to make them go right there and do some more.
They going to walk right back out the door.
And do it again the next day, and do it again the day after that, just to spite you.
And what you do is, you wait for them to come home, you sit in the dark with your little cigarette, you drink.
No. Where you been?
Where you been?
Back. You know how they be doing that? Back. With your robe on.
With your robe on. Guys
with your drink.
Exactly. Guys don't like no calm woman like that. We don't like it when you too calm like that. You too calm, that's the problem.
They like, oh Lord, she finna kill me.
That's too funny. Yeah, so guys, know your partner and know, what their habits are, and be able to just talk to them. Let them, it ain't gonna hurt nothing.
And two, you also, if you're a type of person that just kinds of don't say anything and just kind of let stuff fester, this is bad.
Not a good thing to do.
Bad. Couple of reasons why it's bad. Number one, you are stuffing all of those horrible feelings that you have down inside of you. And listen, I don't care what people say. You cannot stuff bad feelings down inside of yourself and expect to feel happy. It's just not going to happen. You have to get those bad feelings out of you in order to get, I'm telling you something that I know.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, I used to be a really angry individual. Okay? Really? What it was, I was sad at all the things that had happened in my life, right? But what we were taught to do is not communicate.
Push it down.
Stuff it down, get over it, move past it. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. Not for happiness, not for peace, not the type of happiness and peace you want. It just does not work. Okay, and it's not going to work in a relationship. So when you are pushing those things down, you're building resentment,
Yes.
little by little, and then when we blow up on somebody, what happened? We was in a good place, but you really wasn't, because you didn't say anything about it. You were just letting it fester.
You let it fester, and to the point where y'all driving in the car and he look crazy or pick his nose or say something crazy, and you look at him like, look at him crazy like,
can't stand you. Oh, I can't stand you. Right? But people don't really realize how little things build resentment.
Yes.
Right? People go, I don't want to nag him. Lord, get that cat. Get out of there, sir.
Bro, what's wrong with you, man? Get out of here. Crazy. Sorry, guys.
You sitting up eating the Halloween decorations. Oh, have mercy. Sorry about that.
We digress.
But when you, what was I talking about?
I don't even know.
See that? Yeah.
That's that old right there. What are you talking about? I don't know.
Oh, well, letting stuff fester.
Yeah,
right?
you can't let stuff.
Letting stuff fester. You can't let stuff fester because little by little by little, like little stuff. And I know people don't want to nag. Right? They don't want to get to the point, well, I don't want to nag. I don't want to nag. Well, you got to let them know, look, this is not nagging. This is us communicating each step of the way so that neither one of us builds up resentment against one another.
You have to do that, guys.
Okay?
You have to, because resentment is like, it's like a pressure builder.
Yeah.
And the more you stuff, eventually it's gonna pop.
Yes.
And all it takes is something very, very small. As I was saying, you could be looking at them and they chew their food wrong. They sipping their drink funny, making a sound, a slurping sound, and it just makes you sick.
Yeah.
And now you are angry about the slurping sound, but really you angry about all those other little things that have built up over time. And then you pop.
Yeah, and then you pop, and then everybody's like, what the world's going on here, right? Another thing, too, is that if you're the quiet type, or you the type that let it fester and blow up, please don't do that, right? What you have to do is understand that nobody is a mind reader. Okay? I had learned this one personally, right? Because even though I talked a lot, I expected him to know exactly what I meant. Because I would say something and I would say, you know what I meant. And he was like, no, I didn't.
No, because
I don't know what you mean.
A female language is a whole other language. It's like learning Mandarin. Learning what the woman thinks. What? Shishi.
Shishi napa.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But listen, he would tell me, no, I don't.
Right.
I don't know what you mean. Right? And it had to dawn on me, like, okay, for something for me that seems so obvious, for him, it was like, no, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean.
And part of that, the reason for that is because I wasn't in tune to her. Once I got in tune to her and was on her plane of how she thinks and how she talks, she can say, babe, can you go get the whatchamacallit?
I was just about to say that. I swear to God, I was just about to say that. Babe, can you give me the whatchamacallit? And he'd be like, here.
I know what the whatchamacallit is.
And my daughter's like, what is the whatchamacallit? I'm like, he know, right?
Yes.
But it was only until we got to the point that we were communicating properly. But I mean, we communicate everything now.
Yeah, everything.
Right? Everything. He's just before we got started, he was like, man, my wrist is hurting me. You know, I'm sitting up doing all that typing. I'm typing wrong. My wrist is hurting me. I said, you don't have to get a brace. I ain't getting no brace. Oh, my good God. Get a doggone brace. What's the matter with you? Good grief. Ain't like you got to walk around the streets with a brace. Just put the brace on. You get what I'm saying?
I don't put the brace. It'll make me feel weak. Sorry.
Oh, brace, bro.
The kids can be like, oh, Dad, your hand.
Okay, you gonna mess around and get the gout. You gonna have a big
Gout?
You
How do you get gout from that? You don't get gout from typing.
You're gonna mess around and get the doggone gout, okay? All right. Okay. Now what? So please talk. Please talk. Please listen. People. Yeah, guys are not a mind reader. Girls, we read minds better than guys. We just do. Okay, because like I said, he was just like, no. I don't know what you mean. Like I said, you can text him words, and he be like,
I got a lot of stuff on my mind. I got a lot of stuff to think about.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Okay. What both listening and talking prevents? The big one that we talked about was resentment.
Yeah, we spoke about resentment. Yes, you don't want to have resentment because that is a relationship killer.
Ooh, yes.
It's a killer.
T.
You don't even know that that's what killed your relationship, but it is a relationship killer.
Killer. You have no clue. And you could, a lot of times, you like in us talking to people, you can ask them a lot of times, do you have resentment against your partner? And they'll tell you no.
They won't tell you nothing.
They'll say no. But then when you ask certain questions
and dig a little deeper,
and you go, darling, that's resentment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Every time.
And then you have to ask, look, okay, so how did we get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
How did we get to the point of being resentful of one another? What happened? Like, let's start with the little things. What are the little things, the little pet peeves? And I'm not talking about the stuff, squeezing the toothpaste that gets on your nerves. I'm talking about the stuff that is irking your feelings.
Toothpaste squeezing can irk somebody's nerves now.
It can irk your nerves, but it ain't
squeeze from the middle,
That's what I'm saying. Y'all crazy psychopathic people squeezing toothpaste in the middle. What is the matter with you? Roll. You roll. Okay, I'm sorry.
But but it's key because the resentment, that's a resentment thing. And it just builds up over time because the person never said anything about it.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where you feel like either you're not getting heard,
mm-hmm.
or you won't be heard,
mm-hmm.
or it's not, it's not that important. I'll just let it go and see if it doesn't happen again.
Yes. But the thing about it, when it bothers you, like it bothers your spirit, it bothers your feelings, it needs to be said. It needs to be talked about, no matter how small you think it is. Because what we have found is that when we talk about things, even the little tiny things, it is relieving.
It releases.
To the other person.
Yes.
Right? Because there's been many a times that he thought that I meant something by this, and I thought that he meant something by that, right? And it wasn't that way at all.
And we never talked about it.
And we never talked about it.
And that whole, what she just said, is that we never spoke about it. We never brought it up. And so, but we kept it inside.
And now we have a little growing resentment against one another about something that we could have talked about and cleared up right then. And see, that's how the resentment builds and builds and builds. That little thing right there, you let it go, right? And then next thing you know, you done let go 100 things, and now you can't stand them.
You can't stand them.
Okay.
Oh, Lord have mercy. When
you could have dealt with the little tiny, just said something. Look, something that you said the other day, it bothered me. What did you mean by that? Yeah. Because I took it as this. And we've had lots of situations where we talked about that. Something you said bothered me, and I took it this way. No, that's not what I meant at all. And here you have had built up resentment little by little about something that you could have talked about. Yep. And it could not have been on your resentment pile at all. Right. You get what I'm saying? So both talking and listening will resolve that resentment issue, right? And keep fights from escalating.
It keeps fights from escalating because fights usually are because of resentment.
Yes.
It's because something has not been said.
Yep.
Dude, what are you running for?
I have no idea. That's his thing.
You guys have not talked about stuff that's bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a fight, you don't fight with your spouse randomly just off of fighting. Fights usually are because stuff has built up over time.
Yeah.
And you have not addressed those
I'm
things.
sick of you doing that. I'm sick of you doing that and the third.
Right. Now, if fights come over, if you were in a fight with your spouse, either verbal or physically, and it's not off of nothing, off of no resentment, y'all in a real bad situation.
Oh yeah.
That's like,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That we do it. We dealing with a whole nother set of issues right now. We might be dealing with some control
or abuse.
Abusive type behaviors.
Yes.
That's a whole nother situation.
If you guys haven't seen our episode on abuse, you need to go back and check that out.
Matter of fact, the whole toxic relationship series, man.
Yes, so fights usually come about because of resentment. In most relationships, the majority of them.
Yeah.
From what we've learned from ourselves and from talking to other folks, it's usually because stuff is built up over time.
Yeah. Also, too, both talking and listening helps people kind of build up a better, situation with each other. Like
the flow.
Like build up a better flow with each other. It's kind of like you build a deeper connection.
Yes. And you got. You okay?
I'm sorry. My little nasal stuff.
Yeah, nasal problem. It's all good, baby.
Okay.
That happens when you guys have built up over time the flow where you can talk back and forth with each other. That is beautiful.
It's so bomb.
It is a beautiful space to be in.
Bomb.
When you can communicate with your partner or even your coworkers or your friends, and you guys are on that page where it's just like back and forth and it's real easy.
It's so bomb. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, but we fought to get to that place.
Yeah, we fought.
We fought to get to that place. I mean, we literally fought to get not physically fought, but like verbally, we fought to get to that place. But like I said, that verbal fighting didn't work. And over time, we just had to become mature and say, look, what are we? Because this relationship is worth saving.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So what do we need to do to get to a place, where we are better? And I am telling you, I am telling you, communication in a relationship is not cliche.
Yes.
Okay? It is the foundation.
It'll save your relationship.
It will save. Yes, indeed. It will save your relationship.
Or give you the cues and give you the insight that you need to end the relationship.
Yeah. Hello, hear me somebody, because that can go both ways.
It can go both ways. It can help you learn about that partner and decide whether or not, do I want to stay with this person? I'm learning a little bit more about them, and I really don't like what I'm learning.
And that's what, see, when somebody like a controlling person, they don't want you to know about all that, because they don't want you to leave them, right? But here's the thing about humans. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. We just got to learn how to accept that fact. You know what I mean? And move on. So yeah, like you're saying, talking with each other, communicating can help you to realize, you know what?
You are not my soulmate.
This ain't it. This ain't it at all.
Right. And you got to be able to be brave enough to say that to yourself. And you might even need to say it to them at some point in your own way that you can deliver it. Yeah.
It also helps you to understand each other better too. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're in a situation where you might love somebody, but you don't quite understand what's going on in their mind. You know what I'm saying? You don't really quite understand what's going on with their emotions, right? And by talking about it and by listening to the other person, both, it will help you guys get to a place of, okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you'll learn about that person, about, okay, this is their experience, this is how they grew up, or this is why they do that. You know, they had a parent that behaved this way, or they had a parent who liked to talk, and that's why they talk so much. You may have a spouse or a partner who likes to talk all the time, and you're like, dang, this person just talks all the time.
Yeah.
And it could be that they had somebody in their life who talked to them.
Yeah.
Or you have a partner or a spouse who doesn't talk.
Didn't talk. Nobody talked to them.
Nobody talked
that
to them.
was me. Nobody talked to me. I came from an era where nobody talked to kids.
They talk at kids.
They talked at kids for sure. You know what I mean? We talk to our kids. And what we have found is that there is no need for hitting. Okay?
That's going to roll a lot of folks wrong, in the wrong way, but...
it is what it is. That's what we do with ours. And I'm going to tell you, we got perfectly respectful kids. They do what they're supposed to do. They self-police. When they done something wrong, they come to us and talk to us about it.
That's the funniest thing.
You get what I'm saying? You say what you want, but we do not beat them. We do not spank them, right?
Themselves.
And because we communicate with them, because we understand that they're people, right? They're little people. They're little people, but they're people. And they have thoughts, feelings, and emotions just as an adult does. All right?
And give them the freedom to express themselves and talk. So that's the thing, what we're getting at is that giving someone the space to talk.
Yeah.
And feel free that they can say what they want to say in a respectful way.
Yes.
And get their point or their feeling across, and then you can find out what's going on with them. And what we do with them is we allow them to express themselves.
Absolutely.
Allow them to talk. Teach them how to listen.
Teach them how to communicate themselves.
How to communicate.
Right?
So that when they become older, they know how to communicate with people.
Yeah, and you know, they kind of know, and that's the same thing with a relationship. You know, you got to kind of, it can help you to understand where a person is coming from better. Because like I said, we came from a place where didn't nobody talk to no kids.
Nobody talk to us.
No, they just, get in there. They felt like if they clothed you,
Put a roof over
roof over your head, gave you food, and sent you to school, they have done their job. That was it.
That's it.
That's all. You don't need any mental stimulation. You don't need no emotional stimulation. You don't need nobody to talk to. You don't need no understanding. You don't need none of that. And what you end up doing is finding it out in the streets. Or with your little crazy friends, which is the worst things in the whole world.
Learning from your
You
dumb
can't
friends.
learn to your dumb friends, and then they saying stuff you like, oh, for real? Oh, for real? Then you end up doing something stupid, and then they're like, what in the world? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Also, too, both listening and talking. I mean, talking and listening, especially listening. It helps people to have more empathy for the person that they're with.
Sure. Yes, because you learn about that person's story.
Yeah.
You know, learning about a person's story helps you to understand, okay, this is, like we said, this is why they do what they do.
Yeah.
Or why they behave the way they do. And you can, and empathy is not having sympathy.
Yeah,
It's
different.
It's a difference.
Yeah.
It's understanding about how a person is, and you know, and
Where they came from,
where
how
they
they
came
got
from,
that way.
and having a little bit of, you know, humility about that.
Yeah. Sympathy is, oh, I feel sad for you. Empathy is just understanding. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of us come from a place, man, woo. Let me tell you what, I don't know how I got to the place that I got to. I'm telling you that right now, you know, because there's a lot. As a kid, I even thought that I asked questions, but it must have just been my mind asking questions and answering them myself.
Right.
Because I swear I asked questions out loud, but as when I asked, they said, "No, you're very quiet." You know, but I guess, you know, looking back, you understand that they ain't gonna talk to you anyway. So you might, if you got questions or anything, you're gonna have to find out yourself, right? And I think it took me back my maturity level and the place that I could have been in my life, had I had that, I think we would have been in a different place. And so when you are dealing with the person that you're with, you got to be able to listen to them and listen to where they came from and listen to how they feel and come from a place of empathy with them and go, I'm sorry about that. What I heard was this, and you must be very upset about these things, or you might be frustrated about that. And you'll be surprised that when you have empathy with someone, baby, when you have empathy towards somebody, you will be surprised how much more they open up to you.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
And empathy, on that note, does not excuse bad behavior. It just means that you, like you said, you understand.
Yeah.
It does not excuse whatever it is that they may be doing that's bothering you.
Yeah.
It just gives you an understanding as to why they do what they do.
Why they doing what they're doing. So now when you come at them, you can be like, you know what? I see you frustrated. I see you upset. I also hear sadness in that. You can ask them, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Because I want to understand, because I'm frustrated as well. Okay, I'm frustrated at what's going on between us, right? And so if I can understand where you're coming from, right, and we can discuss that, maybe then you can understand where I'm coming from, and then have empathy with one another.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
That's reciprocal empathy.
Reciprocal empathy. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
And what else? You also create what? Deep connections too.
Yes, you got the deep connection. You got, like you said, there's empathy. There's, you can learn from the other person. There's the connection. There's the bond.
Yeah.
There's that safe space that you guys build together.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that are beneficial for talking and listening in the relationship. It's just knowing what your mix is.
Yeah.
And not going over it. Don't be the one that talks too much. Don't be the one that doesn't say much.
Yes.
You've got to open up and say your piece.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times she would say to me, so what do you think about that? And early on I'd be like, it's good.
What, baby? Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. And so
give me something.
You're looking for more.
Yeah.
And so, learning how to express yourself, because in relationships early on, I did not have that. I was not in relationships where I expressed myself.
Yeah.
That way. Where a person was digging deep.
Yeah.
Wanting to know more.
Yeah.
Which caused me to dig deep.
And made him feel uncomfortable.
Yes, and it's an uncomfortable space to be in.
Yeah.
And so, little by little, over time, she chiseled away at it.
Yeah, but uncomfortable is good sometimes.
Yes, it is.
As long as you're doing it in a loving way and you have good intentions when you're doing something. You know what I mean? I had to learn that. I ain't even gonna lie. I had to really learn how to do that, right? Yeah. Because I understood that we had something great. You get what I'm saying? And I'm like, I've never felt about anybody the way that I felt about him. No, true. And true. And I really, for the first time, started to work on myself. Something that I had never, ever, ever done in my life, right? It was always, well, if you don't like it, bye. You know what I mean? And even when I so-called loved somebody. But what I found out is that I probably didn't really love them. I probably really liked
She liked them.
And you just get so used to getting in situations, you say, I love you too. I love you too. You get what I'm saying? But you don't really understand the real meaning and the real concept of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So listening, talking, it creates a sense of empathy amongst one another. It creates deep connections.
That bond.
It is a bond. I'm telling you.
It stops the resentment. It prevents the resentment from happening.
It is a bond like you would not believe.
Yes.
Beautiful communication will change your whole life.
We get frustrated with each other
Absolutely.
from time to time.
Absolutely.
But we don't let anything fester.
No.
We talk about it.
Nope.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Well, guys, we've talked our heads off, talked your heads off. Hopefully,
we need some more questions.
if you heard something that you liked, disliked, whatever it was, something that touched you, moved you, made you think, made you ponder, let us know. We want to hear from you.
Yes, guys, and please just ask us some questions. Throw some questions in there. You got any questions? Throw us some questions. We
ain't
want.
We ain't scared.
I'm not scared. I want the questions, right? I want to help. You know? And so next time, guys, we
Will
see Nicole. We're gonna see you next Thursday, girl. Bye.
Mom.